You ruined baseball!
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. The Dodgers Zone.
Cortez delivers. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Gibby, meet Freddie. Game 1 of the World Series.
The sickest LA Dodgers podcast.
Fernando Valenzuela has pitched a no-hitter. If you have a sombrero, throw it to the sky.
Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
It's gonna be sick.
And the party hasn't stopped. The party keeps on going. In fact, let's start there. It's been a few days since the Dodgers have won the World Series, and quite frankly, it still does not feel real. But somehow it happened. Somehow this is the reality that we, in fact, do live in. The Dodgers have gone back-to-back in one of the craziest World Series we've ever seen. Monse, what has the celebration been like for you? What have these last couple days been like? What was the aftermath of Game 7 like for you?
Okay, first of all, what a series, right, Ryan? Like, what an instant classic that it's going to be talked about forever. Big kudos and props to the Blue Jays and the fight that they put up, because this series was only interesting because they put up such a good fight on all aspects of the game. And Game 7 on a Saturday, holiday weekend. I say holiday because I like Halloween and it's a holiday for me. Halloween weekend. And I'm working Saturday night. I'm on air until 8 p.m. So I was watching the game while on air at Fox Sports Radio. And I made a comment on air. I was like, if you don't know the score at this point, Blue Jays were up like 2 runs. It never got too far away. It wasn't that the score was 8-1. It's just, if you were just watching the game and you had no idea what the score was, you'd be like, the Blue Jays are winning. It looks like everything is going their way. It looks like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is a Gold Glove specialist at first base all of a sudden, diving for that line drive that was a foul ball. There's also that double play that he got, and instead of touching the bag at first, he threw it to second, went to cover first base, and got the double play like that. Like, he was on a different level. I also felt like the Blue Jays looked calm, cool, and collected. And the Dodgers looked tense. Understandably so. You're on the road. It's Game 7. So I really thought, like, it looks like the Blue Jays are going to win. So I stayed at the station and I finished, I think it was like the 8th inning, and I got in my car and I just was like, all right, well, I'm going to go home and we'll see what happens. On my drive, which is a very short drive, is when the game-tying home run happened. And I swear, brake lights happened on the freeway, because I think all of us were listening at the exact same time. And you were just like, no, there's no way. And then you're like, who hit that home run? No. I'm sorry. I heard Miguel Rojas. That's gotta be, who hit the home run? I could not believe it. And then I got home and I thought the game was going to be over. And so I didn't go to like a friend's house. I didn't go to like the bar to finish it up. I just went home and I celebrated alone because the boyfriend is a Yankee fan. So I celebrated alone and like texting you guys and like my friends. And of course I celebrated with some shots, like, don't worry. But I really, truly did not think it was going to happen watching that game. And then all of a sudden we're like freaking champs again. What? What?
Yeah, I think that summarizes it really well, is that throughout that entire game, in fact, there were moments in that game where I said out loud, we're just not meant to win this year, and that's fine. Because
absolutely. It looked that way.
Yeah, beyond like the Bo Bichette home run, that which was killer, but like moments like you mentioned with like Vlad making a crazy play at first, or like things like that where they would hit the ball hard and it would either die at the warning track or be right at an infielder, and you're like, all right, well, we're just not meant to win. Like that. It is what it is. We got one last year. You know what? All right, fine.
Right.
But this team showed such impressive fight despite the fact that they collectively couldn't hit. For much of the series, they struggled at the plate. And despite that, the pitching staff did as much as they could to keep the Dodgers in the game, because eventually, with as much talent that you have in this lineup, you know that somebody's got to break through somewhere. And for them to be able to keep that game close, and the same with Game 6, even though they were in the lead for the entirety of Game 6, for those games to be so competitive and for the Dodgers to stay in the fight and do what they needed to win, it is such an incredibly well-deserved title. But as you said, a ton of credit goes to the Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays are a very likable team as a whole. I think the franchise is very admirable because so many people want to point to the Dodgers payroll and the way they handle deferred payments and the way that the front office and ownership group operates, and making it seem like the Dodgers have such an unfair advantage over the rest of the league. And I think it is worth noting that the Blue Jays, again, are 5th in payroll. They've been trying for a few years. They've been trying, and quite frankly, they've been in a position where they could have easily decided to be the Marlins, where for the last couple of years they've actually gone out and paid money for free agents on a yearly basis, going back to bringing in guys like Kevin Gausman, to George Springer, to Anthony Santander, who is on the Blue Jays, in case we've forgotten. They paid him last offseason, and he's been hurt, so he's not there. And then to invest in their homegrown hometown star in Vlad Jr., they tried hard to get Shohei Ohtani. They tried for plenty of big name free agents, but they easily could have seen the writing on the wall and said, you know what? Vlad's contract is going to be up in a couple years. He's going to need to get paid a ton. Bo Bichette's contract is going to be up soon. We can just trade these guys away for a ton of prospects and reset, because we're in a very competitive division where the Yankees will always be competitive. The Red Sox will always find a way to be competitive. And a couple of years ago, the Orioles looked like they were going to be perennial contenders. Of course, they fell off hard this past year. And then the Rays always find ways to be competitive because their front office is very smart and they invest very well in young talent. The Blue Jays could have easily been the Marlins, and they could have said, let's trade Vlad. Let's get a ton of prospects. Let's reset this entire organization. But they said, no, you know what? We want to invest in this team because we're the only team in Canada. We've got a huge fan base, and we need to do right by them. And we have the money and the means to do it. So we should. So I hope that the Blue Jays continue to be contenders. Obviously, Vlad is there for the rest of his life. I think they should re-sign Bo Bichette, and they probably will. So, and hopefully they could very easily add another starting pitcher. You know, Max Scherzer is going to be gone, but they brought in Shane Bieber at the deadline. They could spend for a starter as well. So I really, really admire the Blue Jays, and I'm glad that they got to this point. And it's kind of like, I kind of feel bad for them, like, honestly, because as you said, they played a great series, and they really at many times should have ended up winning the series, because it came down to just really small moments that decided this series between these two teams. And they went up against a juggernaut in the Dodgers and fought them tooth and nail to the last out, and really easily could have won it in the end. So credit to them. I do feel bad for you guys. I'm sorry.
I do too. It was a really heartbreaking loss to be on the other side of it, because 2 games going to extra innings, one which I was at, the 18th inning game, like you were there, you were up in game 6. Like, it is a heartbreaking loss, but I hope they don't take that with themselves, like being, not that I care about the Blue Jays, but like you said, it's not, they're likable. There's no reason to hate on them. They were willing to pay Shohei Ohtani if he would have picked them. Like, they're trying to be competitors, and you can't blame them. You can't fault them for it. They're trying, they're making the right moves, and they were so close. So it's like they could taste it. They could taste it. And then you went up against, yes, a championship caliber team that was handpicked and put together with all these MVPs. So it has to hurt, but it's like, don't get discouraged, Blue Jays. Like, I hope I hope they come back and they're like, get us back in there. Let us beat the Dodgers. We'll see you at the World Series. Like, I hope that's the hunger coming from their side, because I'm pretty sure the Yankees are already favored to win right now, like the early favorites to win their division. I read that and I was like, who's on crack? How are the Yankees are going to win this division? Like, unreal. Dodgers are already favored to win the World Series again, but the Yankees were favored to win the division. I was like, in what world? What have we? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but I'm with you. What a great series and heartbreaking loss.
Yeah, for real. Let's before we dive into more details of the series here, I did get to go to the stadium celebration,
Right.
which was awesome. I missed out on that last year and went to the parade. And this is gonna be the most like spoiled, entitled sounding take ever. But now that I've gone to the parade once, and now that I've done the stadium celebration, I'm good. Like I don't need to go again. Like, I will watch from my couch for every celebration from here on out.
I totally get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally get that.
It was awesome to be there for the stadium. The celebration itself was great. And getting to see Clayton Kershaw close out that ceremony and really getting to honor him in person was just such a wonderful ending to this season. Couldn't have imagined a better ending. The celebration as a whole, it was packed. Obviously, the parking was up on that hill way up in Orange County, like up on the other side. And I when I came in, because I take the academy entrance, and so when I came in through that gate, typically, there's somebody there kind of like, just like Dino Ebel, just sending them down and follow the line. And I'm looking at the line going up the hill, and people are walking down the hill, and
down
I'm
the
like,
hill, and you're like, who's gonna fall first?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know exactly the parking you're talking about. I experienced that in 2017 with the first World Series return, where it just was crazy. But Ryan, I feel like if the Dodgers three-peat, we're both going to be at one of those events next year when we're saying we're not. Come next year, big three-peat. Here we're both are like, yeah, no, we're good. I'll be like, Ryan, where are you going? Are you going to the stadium or are you going to the parade? Where are we meeting up? You know that for sure. So never say never. We're just thinking we're good. No, we did it. You know what I mean? And I haven't done the celebration at the stadium, so I feel like I would want to do that, but I know what you mean. It's like the celebration at the stadium, there's aspects of it where it's nice. You want to be there in person to see it, but you almost can see it better at home. You almost can see the clips better at home. A little bit of like a close-up of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but let's be real. We'll probably be doing it.
Yeah, I was literally last row in top deck, section 10.
Nice.
So like, yeah, the TV view would have been a lot clearer. But I mean, getting to like see everything though, I actually like being high up because you can. I do too. It's really nice. It's wonderful. I was able to kind of finagle the parking situation because as people are turning up, there were a couple cars that were just going straight there. And again, like typically somebody's stopping them because only preferred passes are going that way. Well, no one was stopping them. And I'm like, all right, screw it. So I just followed the cars and eventually got all the way around, almost went entirely around the stadium and met up with another preferred general parking line, which I thought was then just going to go up to the hill anyway. And I'm like, I just wasted 10 minutes. This is great. No, it was... if you've ever been to Dodger Stadium and had this happen, it's the greatest thing where you're like in the line and like it's going somewhere, but then the parking people are like, just stop, just park right there. And so now you're parallel parked like in the lane, and it's like, oh, thank God, perfect. So that's where I got, and then we got into the stadium. The food lines were terrible because only half of the concessions are open, and because they're so long, it's just like, well, can we even, we'll miss. Obviously, I think they close the concessions the second that the players get onto the field. I didn't think we'd make it to the front by the time that happened anyway. So just sat in our seats, watched DJ Mustard for a bit, and then the celebration. The celebration was great. The one funny thing was like, everyone obviously figured Kershaw was going to speak last.
Sure.
And at one point, people started chanting for him, and Joe Davis was like, "Oh no, not yet." And then, like 3 or 4 players in, he starts going like, "He's one of the greatest of all time." And then everybody around us started chanting Kershaw to the point where the person controlling the camera for the big screen was had the camera on Kershaw. And so it was like, but I'm also thinking like only like 3 people have spoken.
Right.
Like, are we really jumping to the end right now? Because Joe had already said that Kershaw was going last.
Mhm.
And then he's like, and you thought that in one of the biggest moments he wouldn't come through. And I'm like, yeah, we're all thinking he's describing Kershaw right now.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Mookie Betts. We're like, oh, okay. So, and I'm like, thank God, because this would have been a 10-minute ceremony if they were ending right then. But outside of that, I mean, it was really cool to witness everything in person, and getting out wasn't that bad. So, yeah, it always comes down to, with such an event of such magnitude in LA, it's just like, how much are you willing to like deal with getting there and getting home? So that's really what it all comes down to. But being able to celebrate these last 2 times has been incredible. Let's start to dive into this series, and maybe this is something that we will spread out over 2 podcasts, because there's a lot of specifics to get into from the World Series. And now we have all off season to talk about it. So you know what? Let's just take our time, okay? I want to look back on this series as a whole, and I think obviously when we talk about specific moments, I think it's going to be hard for us to really organize them, because so many different things happen. It was such a wild series of 7 games. So we will do this. I will say the Dodgers did not win. The Dodgers would not have won the World Series without blank. And we'll talk about a specific person. And Monse and I will go back and forth. And maybe next time Bo will be here. Bo fired himself because of because he spent all year demanding for Miguel Rojas to be DFA'd. And Miguel Rojas came through in the biggest situation of his life. And so Bo he's very happy. He's probably still hungover. But he's slapping himself on the wrist for.
He's a lightweight.
So no, Bo will be here next time. Don't worry. You'll get his thoughts. You'll get to witness how happy he is. His voice goes up like very slightly. You'll get to really experience his joy. But I will start this off, and I think there's an obvious choice to start off, because he was the MVP. The Dodgers do not win the 2025 World Series without Yoshinobu Yamamoto. What an incredible series. What an incredible postseason. What an incredible season for Yoshi. And with the way that things were going, with what we saw from Yoshi's performance in Game 6, at the start of Game 6, when the Dodgers still were really struggling to do anything offensively, I thought it was going to be a very fitting end to the season, that the Dodgers would lose Game 6, where Yoshinobu Yamamoto would pitch an incredible game, but allow 1 run, and then the Dodgers would lose 1-0 because they just weren't allowed to give Yoshi any sort of run support. It would have been a very poetic and fitting end to the season. Fortunately, that is not what happened. Yoshi's numbers for the series, he pitched obviously in 3 games because he came into Game 7 after starting Game 6. 3-0 in a 7-game series is incredible. A 1.02 ERA. Including a complete game, 2 runs on 10 hits, over 17 2/3 innings pitched, 15 strikeouts to 2 walks, a .679 whip. And I love this. On Baseball Reference, they have a statistic that's championship win percentage added, which they take into account leverage of certain situations and coming through in specific moments that help lead to winning specific games in the World Series and then winning the World Series as a whole. Yoshinobu Yamamoto had a championship win percentage added of 79%, which is, I don't think I've ever seen such a high number in that
Wow,
category.
I didn't know that at all.
It's remarkable. The Blue Jays leader in win percentage added was, I believe, Addison Barger, who had 40%, which is very, very impressive.
Yeah.
But outside of that, the Dodgers for offensively, Will Smith, because he had a game-winning home run in essence, right? And just to show like how rough Freddie Freeman's series was, even though he had a walk-off home run, his championship win percentage added was negative 13%.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, it's crazy. It's a really wild statistic that can go all over the place, but it just goes to show you just how incredible Yoshinobu Yamamoto was. Completely, his 2 starts were him winning those games. Is what it came down to. And then, despite going super deep into Game 6, he comes into Game 7 and he's up in the bullpen, knowing that they're going to call on him, and he was ready to go, and he pitched great for a guy who had just started the game previously in a Game 7 with his team down much of that, and then eventually having to pitch with a tie and then finishing it out with a lead. It's one of the best performances we have ever seen from a Dodger in a World Series. Simple as that. It's such a well-deserved World Series MVP.
It doesn't matter if you're not a Dodgers fan, you have to appreciate what Yoshinobu Yamamoto did in the series. You know, at the start of the series, I wondered why the Dodgers, it doesn't matter because we won, but why the Dodgers, Dave Roberts, why they went with Blake Snell for Game 1. It's not that Blake Snell, I know he was really good, but there was no need to go by the schedule that you were going by, because you kind of quickly beat the Brewers. You were not, you know what I mean? Like, you had a couple days. You could have started Yoshinobu Yamamoto and had him for the 3. Now, he was available for 3, but on back-to-back nights. So it's just crazy that I in my head, I was like, I don't know if I like this move. It all worked out. But what he did, honestly, like, unreal. The Blue Jays were, I think, the better looking team, especially offensively. The numbers are there for you to go look at. You can see their hits compared to our hits. You could see all of that, but they had no answer for Yamamoto. That was like the one thing they had no answer for. And Yamamoto was like, I don't know if his arm is falling off right now. I don't know if he's replacing it with an arm of steel in the offseason. I don't know. But he couldn't even lift his trophy, all right? His MVP trophy. Couldn't even lift it. That's how much he put into that game. Poor guy.
Just amazing. I realize here I'm taking notes on my, if you see me looking to the side, I've written out a list of players that I believe are worthy of talking about. And I have 16. So we're not going to get to all of them today.
No.
And in reality, it's like 40. You know, everybody, there's a ton of people that were super crucial to winning this championship. Yeah, for the Dodgers to, going back to earlier in the series with Game 2, where the Dodgers were down 1-0 and it's in Toronto, for Yoshi to step up there and throw that entire game. And pitch in a way where, again, the Dodgers end up scoring 5 runs in that game, so they were able to get something going. It was both Will Smith and Max Muncy homered in that game, right? Which was a nice little foreshadowing, I guess. For Yoshi to pitch so well in that game, especially when Blake Snell had a rough outing in Game 1, and Snell, I do think Snell is worthy of discussion. We'll get to him eventually, but I do want to point this out. I think that this was a very tough matchup for Snell specifically. This was a team that is designed to really give Blake Snell trouble. A lot of right-handed power and a lot of guys who worked counts like crazy. And so we kind of saw the typical Blake Snell starts where he throws for 5 innings, 128 pitches, gets like 8 strikeouts, but 6 walks, things like that. For Yamamoto to then come in Game 2, already down 1-0 and get an incredibly crucial win in Toronto, which I just now realized the Dodgers won 3 of 4 in Toronto. That's ridiculous. Like that's so hard to do. And the fact that they were able to do it and Yoshi pitched in all 3 of those games. That's wow. Yoshi never pitched at home in the World Series. These are things I'm just now realizing because again, it's been so hard to really comprehend this World Series win because so many times felt like it was over.
Right. Like from game 1 to game 7, so much happened. Like, how did we get to game 7? We got to start in order if you really wanted to. There was so much that happened, so many storylines. That's why when you were like, I've got 16 players, it's like, no, I 100%. There were so many moments where other people did something that kept the season alive, that pushed it further. Like, unreal. That's why it's hard. You're like, oh yeah, that happened. Oh yeah, because it felt like game 1 to game 7 were 2 different things.
Yeah,
but it was just all part of it.
Wow. My goodness. Okay, so Yoshinobu Yamamoto finishes out the World Series, wins the World Series MVP. The Dodgers do not win the World Series without him, and we've got him for another 11 years at least. Like
Something like that. Oh, so great.
All right, Monse, how would you like to toss out a name?
Yes. The Dodgers do not win this World Series if it wasn't for Shohei Ohtani.
Yes.
What Shohei Ohtani did in that 18th inning game is something we won't see again either. And like, it's that winning that 18th inning game ended up being so crucial. And at one point, I literally was like, I don't care who wins. I just want to go home. Someone score a damn run. Yeah. Little did I know that 18th inning game, winning and pushing and, keeping the starters in, which I think was a reason why Toronto came out so good following that 18th inning game. I'm pretty sure Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was the only one who played all 18 innings. They kept slowly taking their starters out and putting others in. The Dodgers pretty much kept everybody in except for like a few people trying to, spice things up. But like what Ohtani did in that game, it just was unreal. And like, I know people were mad because he was walked how many times? 5?
In the 18 inning game, he was walked 5 times. Yeah.
5,
four
right?
of them intentionally. One was 4 straight balls.
Okay. So the people were so upset about that. And then I saw something on like X or something where they were like, I think it was Rachel Nichols, who I'm a big fan of, covers the NBA. She's like, if Toronto would have walked Ohtani in every at bat, they would have won the game because he was the sole reason that the Dodgers got runs in. He hit a home run and then he had like the RBI. Like he was the reason the runs came in. And I was like, if they would have walked them all 10 times, 9 times we saw him at the plate, they would, who knows if the Dodgers would have scored. So that particular 18th inning game, Shohei Ohtani had his hands all over it.
Yes. I 100% agree. The first thing when you mentioned Rachel Nichols, I believe she and a couple of people had tweeted this about like maybe intentional walks shouldn't be allowed.
Yes.
And like, which is that's okay. That you remember when the catcher used to stand with his hand out? That's just what would happen. But anyway, that's
and off to the side.
Yeah. You can't outlaw intentional walks because then you'll just get intentional walks.
Right.
Anyway, Shohei Ohtani, his World Series stat line, he batted .333. The 500 on base, and I believe a 727 slugging percentage, 700 something slugging percentage, a 1200 plus OPS. All of those led the team. He had the highest batting average on the team for the World Series. We mentioned Rob Parker last time, and I have to do this again. Okay. When he said,
what? They joke.
When he says that Shohei Ohtani didn't do anything in the World Series, just ignore him, okay? Just don't listen.
Don't let him argue with the wall. Yeah. I just it's like, listen, I love it. You want to have a hot take? I'm all for it. There's just some hot takes that I'm just like, I don't have time to entertain this one.
Yeah, like it's not he's just straight up wrong. Like it's not even like an opinion, like, like he's just wrong about it. So I don't think anybody else, I've not seen anyone else try to claim that Shohei Ohtani did not do anything in the World Series because everyone else is able to,
Right. It's a
understand.
decent person.
Like, I don't know. Like, listen, I love Rob to death. Okay. He
We do
came to my
love Rob.
wedding.
We do.
He's a great man.
He really is.
This
But
one, he
he's
just,
wrong.
you can laugh. Don't engage with him. Okay. Just smile and laugh and keep scrolling. Okay. I promise you, nothing is good is going to come of trying to to engage with it. But that's the thing. Shohei Ohtani was crucial to this team. You bring up the 18 inning game. I believe only like 4 other people in the history of baseball have been on base 9 times in a game.
Yeah.
And he did it in the middle of the World Series. The other times is like some dude in the 1920s. They're probably playing the Cardinals and that game went 28 innings. Like, like whatever. It's like pre-segregation baseball.
That's probably names like the Bean Eaters.
Or
like
yeah. Excuse me, pre-integration baseball.
Yeah.
That was segregated baseball. That and Shohei Ohtani did that in the middle of the World Series. He was walked 5 times. Again, they tried to pitch to him one of those times, but not really. They just pitched around him. But for damn good reason. He hit 2 home runs in that game. He doubled twice in that game. Yeah. And then he said for the rest of that game, like, we cannot pitch to him. And the big reason why that game went 18 innings was because the Dodgers offensively were struggling. Ohtani was on 9 times. The leadoff man of your team was on 9 times, and it took 18 innings to win the game. That's tough. Like things were not going well. And I do, just so Mookie Betts is on this list of people that the Dodgers don't win the World Series without. Yeah. But for the middle of the World Series, it was rough there. And he was a large reason why that game went 18 innings, because the guy in front of him was on base every time for him, and he couldn't capitalize in any way. Ohtani also pitched. Ohtani also pitched in the World Series. Now, his outings weren't as great as they were earlier on in the postseason. He did give up the 3-run shot to Bo Bichette, but he arguably shouldn't have even been in to start that inning. It was clear he didn't have his best stuff. And Tyler Glasnow was waiting behind him. He probably should have just given the ball to Glasnow or Sheehan to start the 3rd inning. But hey, we don't need to really question that anymore because everybody else behind Ohtani was lights out and it didn't matter. It almost mattered, but luckily it didn't. Mm-hmm. Again, Ohtani's, and this is one also big thing that I think is so important in terms of the presence of Shohei Ohtani. Yes, he was getting the Barry Bonds treatment where he's getting walked intentionally constantly. He's also it's, you notice how this year Fox didn't have the graphic of like Shohei Ohtani 2 batters away because they got made fun of for so much for it. However, I'm pretty sure that graphic did appear in the Blue Jays dugout constantly because they were always on the lookout. In fact, and I'm gonna talk about this person next, and I think this is a perfect segue. Okay. The Dodgers do not win the World Series without Miguel Rojas, which is a wild thing to say. We didn't think we would say it, but here we are. But here's the thing.
And I think he's the proper 3rd one to mention. Yes. So like that's even crazier, right? Like we're not skipping someone. This is the order it should go in.
Yes. He had one of the biggest hits in Dodger history, tying the game in the 9th inning of the World Series with 1 out, hitting a solo shot to left field. That home run doesn't happen without Shohei Ohtani, because the reason why that at-bat happened, Rojas was able to work the count incredibly well and got it to a 3-2 pitch. And then everybody in the ballpark knows it is 1 out in the 9th inning in the World Series. You are trying to protect a 1-run lead. Yeah. Jeff Hoffman, you cannot, for the life of you, walk the guy in front of Shohei Ohtani because you obviously want to just pitch to Rojas, get him out, and then you can walk Ohtani for all you care. You don't want to then have to pitch to Ohtani with anyone on.
Right.
So Rojas knows he's getting a strike. He has to, because Shohei Ohtani is behind him. And he's able to sit on a fastball, and Hoffman piped it, and Rojas destroyed it. So again, we're going to talk about Rojas now, but to wrap up about Shohei Ohtani, like, that is the presence of Shohei Ohtani himself is a reason why the Dodgers won the World Series, which is incredible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Miguel Rojas hitting that home run. And, like, sometimes, especially here in LA, because of the marine layer that comes into the stadium, where, like, the ball goes and you're not sure, right? I heard the call, but then I went and saw it, and I was like, you could tell right away that it was out. It took off there was no question. Like, the minute it hit the bat, it looked like that's a home run. You know what I mean? Like, there was no question about it. There wasn't like is it gonna get there? No, it's gone. It's there. Home run. He's literally at third base. It's gone. Like, it was unreal of a hit that it didn't even look like he hit it that hard. It didn't even look like he tried that hard. It just looked like he swung in the right time, and that ball hit the right part of the barrel. Out.
And of course, what Rojas also brought was his incredible aptitude for infield defense. His veteran presence in the infield, being able to stay calm in high pressure, tense moments, and just being an excellent defender. He made a gigantic difference over both Game 6 and Game 7 with just in the field. Of course, the couple moments that are big, obviously you have the double play to end Game 6, which he had to twist his body in order to catch the ball at second from Kike, which was still a great throw by Kike, but just because of the defensive positioning, Rojas had to come to the bag weird, and he was able to turn and make that catch. Interesting enough, too, on that play, Rojas actually re-aggravated a rib injury and played through a rib injury in Game 7. So he hit that game-winning the game-tying home run with a rib injury that he had been nursing for like a month. I
don't know if I knew that. It kind of makes sense why maybe that swing looked like the way it did. Like, that makes. I don't think I knew that. Wow, more impressive. He knew the moment. He knew it was like, I have to do something. I have to put it in play. I gotta do something. He also had the double play with Kike, and then he also had the play at home where he was subbed into second base, right? Like, later in the game, and he even bobbles it like a smidge. Like, something happens where he gets like control again.
Right.
And if you watch this video, Ryan, like, I'm gonna go watch it, all of you. Go back and watch that. His face, he looks like a madman. Yeah. He looks like a crazy individual that is going to kill you if you do not get out of his way. He's throwing the ball to home. Like, his face just looked so determined, so like a crazy person. Go back and look at that play. It's just because he kind of bobbles it or like does something, like he just doesn't cleanly get it and throw it to home. There's a moment, but then he looks at home, and it's like he's telling Will Smith, motherfucker, if you do not catch this, I will kill you. I will kill you. Yeah. That's what it looked like to me in that moment. It was nuts.
Yeah, he made such a gigantic difference. There was another play in Game 6 as well, and again, there's so many moments that I like. He had there's at least one other defensive play that I'm drawing a blank on that was I remember coming out of Game 6 being like, the Dodgers don't win Game 6 without Rojas playing second base, and thankfully they eventually were able to make the move where Rojas started Game 6 and 7 at second. They moved Tommy Edman to center, even though he was still nursing his ankle injury. This was a move that they would have liked to do, I'm sure, very earlier in the postseason because Páez was struggling so much.
Right.
But despite that, and we'll tease this for next time, despite that, Andy Páez is on this list. And of course, there's one major reason why. But I think there are so many names, and I don't think we don't want to do just one like 3-hour podcast here. And we've got all off season. We've got let's spend the next couple weeks. I think this is what we'll do. We're gonna stop here. These three names, the Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani, and Miguel Rojas, which if you came into the World Series saying that these would be three of, if not the three most significant people as to why the Dodgers won the World Series, first two you'd be like, yeah, of course. And then how did that happen? Wow. Yeah, so there's a lot, so much to get into from this series, but I think that just shows really as a whole how incredible this one is. 2024 meant so much because obviously like the knocks on 2020 were so damn annoying. And you figured like just seeing the Dodgers win is in such dominant fashion against such a big team and really looked like they were about to really take control of baseball for the next decade now that Ohtani was here. That win in 2024 was so exciting, and it's always going to be so memorable, especially you have a freaking walk-off grand slam, like things like that. It's incredible. This one is just wild. Like, because of the fact that they could have easily lost this series at so many moments, and the fact that they came out of it with a win, and to say that we got to witness a back-to-back championship, it's still, I know we keep saying this, but it really still does not feel real because of how nerve-wracking and how stressful this series was. For them to come out of it with this title, it is so rewarding, and it really just feels like no one can really ever say anything about the Dodgers again. They just keep trying to talk about the money and being like, you guys ruined baseball and all that bullshit. But if that's all you can say about the Dodgers, hey, I'll take it. That's great.
Yeah. Like, you're hating at this point because that was a great World Series, but you're right. It's very different from last year. It's not that last year the Dodgers weren't battle tested, but obviously like with the bullpen and all the moves that Dave Roberts had to do to like get through the series, but it was a less battle tested series because the Yankees didn't put up as big of a fight. Like this one, they were battle tested in so many different parts of the game that we weren't exactly sure how they were going to pull it off. And especially after cruising through the Brewers, like no issues. And then the Phillies, we talked about the Philly series where it was like the Dodgers didn't beat the Phillies. The Phillies just couldn't win. So to see them be battle tested so much in so many different ways in a series where your offense was bad, but your starting pitching was the glue, held it together with a couple of appearances here and then from here and there from certain players, which we'll talk about because there's a couple names that like, let's, tease it out. Will Klein.
Yeah.
What would we have done without him? Also, who are you? Where did you come from? Like one of those names where it's like you were a part of it. You were a big reason as to the success. And so like this one just feels like, I don't know, extra sweet. And I know last year's felt sweet because of all of the crap from 2020. Totally. But this one just, I don't know. There's something about it where it was like feeling like you weren't going to win and then you won it. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, crazy. Crazy.
There's something very rewarding about this one. And again, like people don't want to feel bad or like people probably think we're very spoiled now and all that. But like, listen, through the 2010s, it was rough. It was the playoffs were a rough time for Dodger fans because every single year they would fall short. And so all the pain, Blue Jays fans, the pain that you're going through, we have been there. Okay. We know what that's like. And I'm not saying, hey, you deserve it. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying like, we get it. Don't think that we haven't been there before because we have.
We've lost a game 7 in recent time at home.
Yeah.
We were there.
It
like
sucked.
it's awful. It's awful.
Yeah. But that didn't happen this time. So next time we're gonna continue our list. We're gonna be talking about all the different reasons why the Dodgers won the 2025 World Series. We're going to keep this celebration going throughout the offseason. Why not? And hey, I'll take a three-peat.
Yeah.
We all would.
I want a shirt that says three-peat on it, okay?
Yes. Yeah, we've the trademark has been approved, so we're fine. All right.
Yeah.
So, and a reminder, Sick Podcast, the Dodger Zone. You better like, subscribe, and follow us because we are now 2 for 2 in World Series wins. The Sick Podcast, the Dodger Zone, has only existed in seasons in which the Dodgers have won the World Series. So you better get on board because we should get on that Dodgers payroll at this point because I think we're reason number 17 as why the Dodgers won the World Series. Yeah. But we'll get through more of our list and we'll eventually get to us next time. So for Bo Benson, she's Monse Bolaños. My name is Ryan Berchinger. Again, Sick Podcast, Dodger Zone. Check us out, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be with you throughout the offseason. Let's keep this list going. Let's keep the party going, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Domo arigato, everyone. Thank you very much.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast, The Dodger Zone, on YouTube, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.